a bleed build to melt bosses in seconds. Hello, my fellow Tarnished, and welcome one and all as I present my latest and greatest build, my magnum opus of non-bleed. Because look, bleed, we get it. You can run up to Melania and melt her in 3 nanoseconds. Link to that build down below. But it's admittedly a little bit at this point, isn't it? So I set myself the task of, can we utterly, absolutely, overpoweredly just smash boss health bars in a manner that, let's be honest, was never intended without the use of bleed? And as you are seeing, yes, it is entirely possible to do that, and it is delicious. Also, it absolutely annihilates in PvP too, so yeah, have fun with that. In any case, what's actually going on here? Well, there is a couple core pillars to this build that really make it sing. The first then, yes, is the power stancing of twin blades, leading to a jump attack that has not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 separate hits. Which, as you know by now, I would hope that anything that lets you do lots of hits in rapid succession is a recipe for, well, this is probably going to be really powerful, right? Thanks to a certain few talismans and wondrous physic combinations. But there is more to this, because on our right hand we have Royal Knight's Resolve. You know, that big near 80% damage buff that you can whack on a weapon for the next hit. Yeah, that. But the thing is, a jumping attack, despite being multiple separate hits, all of it counts as far as Royal Knight's Resolve is concerned as one hit, which means all 3 of the hits from the right hand get the bonus of Royal Knight's Resolve, resulting in, you know, hitting Godfrey for 7,000 damage on one jumping attack. What? And that is glorious. The left hand then also contains a little special secret borrowed from Radahn and his best friend Leonard. Seriously, find someone who looks at you the way Radahn looks at that scrawny little horse. In any case, this is Cragblade, an Ash of War located right in the south of Caelid near the impassable Great Bridge. It is just on a beetle a little bit further back in the rocky outcrop, and this is quite a curious Ash of War. What it does is simple, really. It gives the weapon that it's on a 10% boost to AR or damage for the 30 seconds or so it lasts, and also gives you a boost to stagger damage while it's on. And as jumping attacks inherently have more stagger damage, this leads to a fairly high rate of stagger. And that's very, very cool because we're also multi-hitting, so each of the 3 hits is enhanced staggerness. And that's really a nice little facet of this build. It doesn't just do nuclear damage, it also sets you up for free more damage as bosses go down to their knees. It's also a really nice way to just power up the left weapon that isn't a second Royal Knight's Resolve, though you can do that if you want to micromanage a bit more, but it's annoying to switch left Royal, switch right Royal, hit, switch left Royal, switch right, hit, and so on and so forth, whereas if you just whack Cragblade on left and forget, then you can just Royal right, jump attack, Royal right, jump attack, Royal right, jump attack without juggling weapons like you're fresh out of the circus in the middle of a boss fight. So it makes it a lot more comfy to play and gives you like this cool double rock blade, which also looks fantastic. So that's inherently the core of this. 2 twin blades, and the twin blades in question are the Gargoyle's twin blade. This is dropped from the double Gargoyle fight in the Aqueduct, so you've probably got it by now, but if not, it's the fight in this room. And the reason being is this is the highest strength scaling twin blade. It gets a lovely A, and strength is what we want here, as the Cragblade does indeed favour strength builds, and indeed it's our meatiest twin blade that we can select for doing the most damage. So yes, this is a core strength jumping twin blade build, which might not be your typical strength look, but I think it's definitely a lot of fun and certainly unique in that regard. In any case, yes, we have double Gargoyle twin blades. If you don't have to, replace one of them with the Knight's twin blade from just to the left of the Windmill Village in Altus Plateau. But in any case, yes, left hand Gargoyle twin blade with Cragblade set to heavy, right hand Gargoyle twin blade with Royal Knight's Resolve set to heavy. This stat spread will generally do you. Of course, this lets us grab the 25 faith for a bit of flame grant me for extra 20% physical damage, and of course the classic Golden Vow, which of course is the universal, please God, I just want my build to be better, I know, 25 faith, and that indeed works out really nicely for an extra 35% damage between the two of them. So we've got our weapons, we've got our Ashes of War, we've got our strategy of jump into boss, do the 6-hit attack, and then where is our actual damage pumping from? Well, of course, we are using the Raptor Cloak for an extra 10% damage on our jumping attacks, and of course this leads us nicely into the Claw Talisman for an extra 15% damage on our jumping attacks. That is fantastic. The Cloak from a dungeon in Altus, and the Talisman from Stormvale Castle. And then we have, of course, the magic duo in Rotten Winged Insignia and Millie's Prosthetic, which of course amp you massively as you rapidly attack. And yes, doing 12 hits in 2 jump attacks is more than rapid enough to fully max these out and almost double your damage. They really are that good, combined with the Wondrous Physic that has the same effect from the Erd Tree in the consecrated snowfield. The second Wondrous Physic slot is kind of flexible. You can either get some poise to make your jump spamming easier, or you can play with Cragblade's extra stagger damage and get the extra stagger damage tier in there. Both work great. Oh, and on a note, the actual activation of Cragblade, when you plunge it down and then plunge it back up, is an attack in of itself, if you ever feel the need to use it that way, though it's not the strongest thing in the world, but it is nice that it does have damage hitboxes on, so it gives it a bit more utility. This then leads us to a setup where we have at the start a nice kind of modest AR on both our weapons, the Cragblade one obviously a little bit above, as it gives it an inherent boost, and then by the time we finish jump attacking, yeah, we have just shy doubled our damage on both of them, with righty having nearly 1700, lefty 1850, for a combined nearly, like, what, 3.4k AR that is hitting 6 times in a second. This is why we're doing 7,000 damage in one attack. It's actually, and again, I only say this for the very best of builds, Nutty Cuckoo Bananas! And at the end of the day, Power Stancing Twinblades is really quite fun. It's a very nice little moveset. Its normal generic attacks aren't the best, admittedly, but it does certainly get the job done, and as I alluded to at the beginning, yes, in PvP it absolutely annihilates, as the damage is just through the roof, and you can trade with reckless abandon. And of course, if you've been seeing against Radagon and the Elden Beast, it chews through their health, and they're immune to bleed anyway, so that's pretty damn nice. Anything in the game, you just run at it, you jump, you attack, you repeat, and you collect your free rewards. It is ridiculous, and I never thought anything would quite match the sheer power of the perfect jumping bleed build. And on that note, you might be thinking, well, what if we do this exact same thing, but instead of Royal Knight's Resolve and Cragblade, we put Seppuku on both of them, go full occult, and then we can use the 4th Talisman slot, which is currently just a flexible slot, as Bloodlords, and then whack the white mask on, and okay, yeah, that would absolutely destroy, but that's literally the setup of the perfect bleed build with which this competes directly with in equivalent numbers. So yeah, this is essentially just as good, but obviously not relying on a status, which is quite fun. And obviously, your left hand doesn't have to be Cragblade, you're free to make it a lot more flexible. Inherently though, this is just a way to utterly destroy the game effortlessly with pure, raw damage, no gimmicks, no status, no magic, no nothing, just full on stabby, jumpy, stabby, and that is, in my mind, very much satisfying. Let me know what you guys think then. Like if you have indeed enjoyed this, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss future ridiculous builds. Consider supporting the future of this channel on Patreon down below. It is what keeps us going, and it does mean the world. Until we meet again, a good one.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.